So PFF released some things. Those things being the odds to win the AFC North. And they actually have the Ravens at 40%, us at 31%, Browns at 15%, and the Steelers at 14%. I feel like if we're being realistic here, and this is me not being biased at all, right? This is me trying to be as least biased as possible. I feel like these numbers should be Bengals number 1. But even if I'm not being biased here, I feel like they should be like 52%. Like 52% Bengals, 47% Ravens. Let me just make sure I do the math there. And then, yeah, 0.5. I'm joking, Browns fans, Steelers fans. No, I would probably put it at like... These two would be 10% for me. I feel like there's a 10% chance the Browns or the Steelers win the division. Maybe less than that. I don't know. I mean, again, it really... The only percent chance that any of this happens is if Joe went down. And I think there's a less than 1% chance of that happening again. But I would say overall wise, if I'm being biased, I think we should have 85%. And then you could split up the last 15%, 5% each for these other 30 teams. But if I'm trying not to be biased here, I would say about roughly this should be a 50-50 shot. That's what I'm trying to say. This should roughly be a 50-50 shot. And then you could split up the rest of them between these two guys. Because I don't think the Steelers are going to win it. Not with their last 8-game stretch. I think that's very difficult to manage and get over. And... well, the Browns are going to be the Browns, okay? The Clownies will be the Clownies, and that's just how it works. With that being said, the last time they won a division was 1989, the AFC Central. Yeah. And it was, the Titans, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Brownies. So, the last time they won a division. So, it's been quite a while. Odds to win the division, though. So, I disagree with this. Again, being non-biased here, I think this should be a 50-50 shot. And I think that the rest should be split up between these two guys. So they have some other things, too. And by the way, Trevor Lawrence did get paid yesterday, which, wow, was that crazy. I feel like, it's kind of justified for how much, he's the next quarterback up. What do you expect, right? That's kind of how, life works when it comes to money. And, the quarterback and the next man up in the NFL. That's what I say all the time. Even if, in quotes, a receiver doesn't deserve to get paid the most money possible. Like, there are some people who still think Chase doesn't deserve to get paid more than Justin Jefferson. And I get that, and I understand that point of view. But guess what? That's just how the NFL works. The NFL is next man up mentality. That's pretty much how it's always been. Even if a quarterback or wide receiver or running back or tight end or, hoopla, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the mentality is the next man up gets the most money. And that's just, the system. Odds to win the division, AFC South. Texans at 36%. I think this is just ridiculous. Personally speaking, I'm not trying to say that CJ Stroud's going to be, the best quarterback of all time in his sophomore year. But I feel like, personally speaking, looking at these, the Jags should not be 26%. I think the Colts have a better chance to win the division than the Jaguars do. And barring an injury, again, we're not looking at what-if injuries here. I think the Texans should at least be over 50%. I think they showed last year that if you add more to their roster, they could be a Super Bowl team. Now you get Stephon Diggs, who I think is a mental head case, but he's still a great wide receiver, and he's still an amazing wide receiver. They still got 2 other great wide receivers there, and Stroud's only going to get better. So I think they should be above 50%. I think the Colts should be number 2, and even then I would say Colts probably 20. I'd say probably Colts like 30, 35%. So I would say 50%, 35%. And I'm going to give them 5%. 10% for the Titans and 5% for the Jags. I'm not a fan of the Jags. I don't have hate toward them, but I just don't think they're all the hoopla it's made out to be. And again, I don't agree with Trevor Lawrence's contract. I don't think that was smart. I don't think he deserves that, but it is what it is. Odds to win the division. NFC North. Detroit, 36%. Green Bay 29%. I think this is very accurate. This is very freaking accurate. This is how, I mean, like, between the Packers and the Lions, kind of like the Ravens and the Bengals here, where it's a coin flip. It really is. Like, it's, if one game goes incorrectly, another game goes correctly, this happens, that happens. It's really that close. I don't think it's this close with the Bears. I think the Vikings, I agree, 13% is pretty accurate, especially with the fact that right now they're going to start the season off with Sam Darnold. They're not going to play J.J. McCarthy, which I think is actually not a bad idea, because at the end of the day, J.J. McCarthy, when he got drafted, he wasn't being drafted to, in quote, play right away. I mean, there's many scouts that said, hey, listen, if you draft J.J. McCarthy, he shouldn't be starting right away. He should be taking some time to develop. So this is actually probably a perfect scenario for J.J. McCarthy here, where he can actually sit behind somebody and learn. But with that being said, though, yeah. Bears, I think, are getting a little bit too much hype with Caleb Williams. I said before, Caleb Williams is either going to be, if he's not the best quarterback this year, and he doesn't take the Bears to the playoffs, and if he doesn't take the Bears to the NFC Championship game, everyone's going to call him a bust. That's how much overhypeness he has received over the last 4 seasons. And he hasn't even played an NFL snap. That's what's sad. He hasn't played an NFL snap, and he has been so overhyped to be better than Patrick Mahomes, better than Joe Burrow, better than Josh Allen, so badly that if he doesn't go out there and win a Super Bowl, he's going to be considered a bust. It's insane. All right. So this is the odds to make the playoffs. They give us a 44%. Well, that is not us. That is definitely just Chicago Bears. I saw the color and I thought it was us, because we're actually kind of somewhat similar to what they have here. 59% chance to make the playoffs in 2024, which I still think is okay. 67% chance for the Ravens. You have a 76% chance for the Chiefs. 61%. How do the Bills have a better chance to make the playoffs than us? The Dolphins are going to be better, okay? In theory, last year, the Bills probably should not have made the playoffs in the end. They did. Congratulations. But the Dolphins kind of collapsed and gave them the division. If the Dolphins doesn't collapse, things go a lot different for the Bills at the end of the season. Nonetheless, though, they still won, and you got to give them credit for that. They should not be above us. That's absolutely ridiculous and stupid. The Texans at 52%. I mean, like, I would say, like, this is how I put it. The Bengals have a 67% chance to make the playoffs, okay? Then put the Texans at then put the Ravens at 61%. Put the Texans at 59% and put the Bills at 52%. That's how I reorder this list. I think that's how we should reorder this list here. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but yeah, this was a thing. Travis Kelce said, "Wear and tear me, baby. I'm ready for it. Man, put that load on me." Yeah, they didn't put the best part on there either. He said, "I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm ready for the load. Put it on me." Yeah, that's a thing. That's definitely a thing. I don't know what to say outside of that, to be honest. I'm kind of, yeah. With that being said, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I love PFF, but sometimes I disagree or agree with them dependingly. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces. Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody!